Hello, my name is Kayla. Welcome to Kayla C Knits. This is my very first video episode, whatever it is. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and lately I've actually been watching a lot of other knitters vlogs and video podcasts, and I was like, why don't I get started? So right now you get me with post-workout hair, because if I don't do it now, I'm gonna put it off for another 6 months. So this is my episode 1. There's a few things I wanna talk about. I'm gonna give you my background in a minute, but first, I have decided to do my first MKAL. If you're not familiar with the term, it's a mystery knit along. So as time goes on, usually it's 1 week or 2 weeks, you get a little piece of a pattern, so you don't actually know what you're making until you're finished. And this kind of happened spontaneously. I made the decision to do this the other night after watching, I can't even remember whose podcast. If I remember whose it is, I will link it down below. But she was talking about her palette, her color palette for the MKAL, and that the first clue had just been released on Friday. I was like, oh, I could do this. So I went through my stash and dug up some random yarn, some stuff that's brand new, some stuff that has been frogged many times, and I came up with this really beautiful earthy palette. So I want to show you what I've got here. So I have this one is a Superba tweed. I actually bought this originally to make some socks with, but it's going to be a shawl instead now. This is, I've already wound it because I'm using it. This is Lichen and Lace. This is Manos del Uruguay, my first love, Alegria. Let's see if I can get this all together. I'm about to wind, which I was like, if I'm gonna wind it, I might as well podcast while I'm winding. This is Lezu Fingering by Julie Asselin. And I have Eucalyptus by Skein Study, which is only available at Hand Knit Yarn in Hamilton if you're in Ontario. I think it's one of the owners is a dyer, and I absolutely love their yarn. So this is my palette for the MKAL, and I find like everything I make is gray and taupe, or I pick colors I don't wear, but I actually really love green, and I'm really excited to see how this plays. He did say to do mostly solids and just a little bit of speckle, so I might be a little adventurous with this guy, but yeah, like this is how frogged this is. It's pretty destroyed. So luckily it's only for the first, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 meters, and then it's a little bit nicer. I need to use it. I've had this forever. I'm pretty sure that a few of the colorways I have don't even exist anymore. But this Julie Asselin is brand new. This was just left over from the Andrea Mallory, I can't remember what it's called, but it was this beautiful t-shirt sweater that I just finished recently, and this was some leftover. And I will show you where I'm at with my MKAL already. If you are doing this, this is a quick little spoiler. Skip to 5 minutes. That's your warning, because I'm doing this for 30 seconds. All right, so so far I have done the beginning section with my color A, which is the mustard yellow. And then color B is supposed to be a framing color, so I'm using the Lichen and Lace. And you can see my color C, the Manos del Uruguay, which is actually quite nice in there. I like the little marbling effect. And then we've got our color A as the second section. So I've got 2 of the 9 panels gone so far. I need my color D next, so I thought I would wind this and I would start this podcast. So there's a little where I'm at so far with the MKAL. And let's talk. So I love hand winding. I have a winder, but it's so finicky, and honestly, like, I get a pretty good hand, like this is a hand done cake, and this was like a late at night hand done cake that I did last night. I love like every step to knitting, so the more that like my hands can be on yarn, maybe the oils from my hand is not a good thing, I don't know. I just wash my hands, so we'll see. But I really love winding by hand, but it is, you know, a process and it takes some time, so I thought I would hang out with you guys while I do this. So what is KAYLA C Knits? I don't know yet. I designed my first pattern 2 years ago, and I finally am writing it down to put it up on Ravelry so that others can make it. I have an Instagram page that I sporadically post on, and it doesn't look like I knit as much as I do. So my history with knitting, I first started knitting when I was 6 years old. For years I thought it was my grandmother that taught me how to knit. She's a crocheter. I don't actually know who taught me how to knit. I do remember my great-grandmother making us all hand knit cardigans, and me just being fascinated with the just the skill set to make something that you could wear on your body with your own hands. My mom was a sewer up until 12 years old. I wore almost exclusively handmade clothes. Sometimes I loved it, sometimes I resented it. I'm like, why can't I go to the mall and spend money on, you know, clothes? And but then there were times when I remember going down stairs into my mom's sewing room, and she would try stuff on, and she'd make sure things fit and figure out what colors and fabrics I liked, and she'd make matching, I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so she made matching scrunchies for the tops. And I remember when plaid pants were a thing, she made me my first pair of plaid pants, because we used to go to school dressed like we were in pajamas. I guess not unlike what some people do now. I definitely am about comfort, that's for sure. So yeah, like I've knitted all my life, pretty much. I love it. I don't care what time of year it is. I live in Southern Ontario. We get all 4 seasons here. I find ways to be busy with my hands in the summer. If I'm out in the heat, then I will do macrame and bracelets. I started using some like cotton, like a thin macrame cord, and I was doing some crochet with that. But really, like, my first and truest love is knitting. For years, sweaters were the thing. I really liked the meditative process with it. And these are, just so you know, I'm sitting here on the floor, and this is wrapped around my knees, and that's how I kind of keep it organized. So in case you were wondering. Yeah, scarves were the thing for a really long time. I had plastic straight needles and acrylic yarn, whatever was the cheapest stuff or stuff that would get thrifted. And I just love the process of knitting so much that the amount of time I have spent knitting versus the amount of finished objects I have, probably for most of like my childhood years and teens, I love to yarn so much. And I've always loved variegated yarns, but I would make something and I want to use the yarn again. So I just take it apart and I would destroy these yarns. Like, for example, this one. Or, you know, I start something because like I love every step of the process. I love touching the yarn. I love winding the yarn. I love starting a project. I love knitting. And I'll just like keep doing it over and over. And I didn't have much of a stash, or I wouldn't plan what I was making well, and I didn't like it so much. So I definitely am not scared to take things apart. I think more of my fear might lie in actually finishing things. I'm much better at starting, and that's kind of everywhere in life. I'm much better at starting things than finishing things. So I thought maybe having this vlog or video podcast or whatever it is would be a great accountability tool, because there might be a few people watching that want to see how my MKAL turns out, and seeing other people do it as well. I've only made one other. It was Vertices Unite. It is the only Stephen West pattern that I have done. And I think part of me kind of avoided it for a while because of the color palette. And it doesn't make any sense, but the color palette that you used didn't appeal to me. And it just seemed like a lot louder. I'm very much like in earthy neutrals, very like basic, simple, foundational garments that I just couldn't figure out how it would fit into my life. And in the last couple months, I work full-time in a restaurant, and I am an osteopathy student, and I find myself wearing a lot of solid colors now. The restaurant, our dress code is just all black, and I used to like push away from that. As you can see, I'm not anymore. But what I love about like an all solid neutral color uniform outfit is that you can use like the knit as that standout piece. Shawls and pullover sweaters and hats, and you can really like use your body and the way you dress as an opportunity to let the work that you put so much time into really shine. And yeah, I saw this MKAL and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a wild journey. Pick colors I love, and I think it'll actually be like a really beautiful piece that I could wear to and from work, or even just like to, I mean, there's not really that many places to dress up for nowadays, but you know, it's just one of those things that I can feel a little bit more put together. So I'm excited to step out of my comfort zone. Of course, I have like, I am probably 90% of the way done actually, I should just show you. I'm 90% of the way done my first Brioche-licious shawl. Let me just grab it. Because it's right here. And I told you guys that I love gray. So I wanted to start the MKAL so much that I stole the needle tips from this project. But this is my Brioche-licious that is nearly complete. It's on a 50-inch cable right now, which is not long enough for me to show this in its full glory. As I lose stitches. Welcome to my life, friends. We are gonna have a lot of fun here. What just happened? Oh yeah, this is great. Okay, I'm gonna hold that. Let's show you. So this is Sand Allegria by Manos del Uruguay. That's my base color. And then I've got Gray Gardens, which is a skein study yarn. This is actually the back side. This is the front side. The original Brioche-licious by Andrea Mowry She did 3 different colors for the brioche panels. I chose to do all this one. I really like wanted a nice neutral. I feel like this is something that's going to go with me everywhere. So I'm on the last brioche panel here. It has this really nice tapered end. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. This has been a great like meditative project. You fall into the stitch pattern so easily, but now that I've got like 400 plus stitches per row, I'm like, okay, 1 or 2 rows a day, and then I'm doing something more fun. So that's one of my whips I've got right now. Let me grab another. I'm just gonna post everything in the description box because I don't remember what most are called. This is the, see, now that I'm talking about knitting, I'm gonna have to learn all the proper terms. This is the yoke of another Andrea Mowry pattern that I really love this stitch pattern. It's so pretty. I started this, I was visiting family out west in August, and we were housebound because there was forest fires everywhere. So I got someone to drive me to the knitting store, and I bought cables and I bought some yarn. So this is a combination of 2 different skein study yarns. And these are long past colorways. This one I think was called Birthday Cake, and you can see it totally looks like the Funfetti icing. And this one had this really beautiful, just all sorts of different colors. So those are the alternating light colors. And this is, I don't remember what it's called, but it is by Malabrigo. There was so much Malabrigo out west, and I just found out that one of my local yarn shops is going to be carrying it. This is so soft. I'm very excited about that. So that's another project. That one's, I feel like I'm going to be working on that for a while. I kind of come back and forth to it. I also have a very large lace shawl that I started a 1.5 years ago. And it's hiding somewhere because I'm in the process of packing up my apartment and moving. And then I think I can show you the last one. I think these are like the main things that are worth showing you right now. And I just started knitting my first pair of everyday socks, also by Andrea Mowry. I really latched onto her patterns when I, a couple of years ago, got into following people's patterns instead of just making scarves over and over and over again. And I very rarely get to the point where I actually make 2 pairs of socks, so I thought I'd make this one fun. So this is some leftover yarn. This color, I think this color was called Dragon Fruit. This is a skein study yarn. And these were both part of the same project that I finished recently. So it's just a little leftover. And then I've got an alternating stripe pattern. The dark blue here is Allegria, and the kind of peachy, I don't know if it looks peachy in there, but it's like a really, really pale peach, almost like the inside of like a white peach. That is also skein study. And this little kit is living inside my purse because I was carrying Brioche-alicious with me, but then it took up half my bag, and it was a little ridiculous to carry that around with me just in case I had the chance to knit. So that's what the socks are going to be, is the traveling with me project. All right, I'm going to continue winding here. What was I going to talk about with you guys? I'm all over the place here. I'm just really enjoying having a outlet. For a long time, I was like, who's going to listen to me talk about knitting? But then now I come home from work at night and I want to knit, so I watch other people on YouTube talking about knitting. So that's kind of where I'm at. I love every part of knitting. I don't let anyone wind the balls for me. I really enjoy this. I think I'm probably going to finish this up soon just because I don't know how long you guys want to listen to me yammer on, and I'm going to be doing this for a while still. There's still like probably a good 30 minutes of work left in this. I think in my, actually, yeah, I'm going to do about 5 more minutes here, and I'm going to talk about what my intentions with this channel are. So I mentioned that I recently designed, well, I have designed a pattern, and I do want to start putting my own patterns out there. Making some items that I wasn't able to find exactly what I wanted in someone else's. I'm sure it's, you know, out there, but it's kind of nice to make your own. And I also want to start teaching on here, because I've taught quite a few people in my life how to knit. I would like to create some, you know, how-to videos, some tutorials, and starting from the basics. So I think that I might go over some of my favorite tools. If you are absolutely new to knitting here, if you want to comment down below if, you know, you have questions, because I've been doing this so long, I sometimes forget what doesn't come natural to people. If there's anything I've mentioned today so far that you'd like me to elaborate or expand on, I'd be happy to do that for you. And yeah, I think that having a creative outlet is a really wonderful thing. It's always been a really wonderful thing, but especially right now, to feel like you have the capability to make something with your own 2 hands, it's such a gift. To make something with your own 2 hands that you could gift to someone else, that they can wear and they can keep worn with and they can enjoy over and over again. Like, what's better? I don't know. I want to also keep this friendly for both people that, you know, are at the point where they're buying their knitting supplies at like Michael's or Walmart, and they're using plastic needles and acrylic yarn. No problem with that. I just made an acrylic sweater because I wasn't sure the pattern was going to turn out, and it was something that was unfamiliar for me. So I wanted to use something that wasn't as much of an investment. But I've also made shawls with hand-dyed one-off yarns that I invested, you know, a couple $100 into. And I don't want to make people feel like, well, if they don't, you know, have the money to do the expensive yarns, then they can't make the nice stuff, because there's options out there, just like everything right now. There's so many more options. If you're gluten-free, there's so many more options than like a decade ago when I was doing that, and I had to make it all myself. Everything has more options in this world, almost too many options. Okay, we're at 24 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop, because I'm just gonna keep rambling, because I'm a rambler. It's been a pleasure vlogging for you all for the first time. I think for the first little while here, I might do 2 or 3 episodes a week. Maybe I'll update on this MKAL as I get a little farther along. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 1 of the KAYLA KNITS YouTube channel, vlog, whatever it is. Please comment down below if there is anything you'd like me to expand on, anything that you would like to see a video specifically focused on. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye.